mystery and horror, the air itself is filled with monsters.
Children of the night, what music they make. He's alive! He's alive!
Well, hello, all you monster fiends, and thank you for joining us for another deep dive, factoid-filled episode exploring Hollywood's most famous monsters. I am your mistress of ceremonies, Sam, and I'm joined, as always, by Dan from Vita Marvelous. Say hello, Dan.
Horses just don't like me.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
No.
Hi everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Monsters of North podcast. I am home. I am home. I am back where I'm meant to be. No big heat this time. Yay, I'm back home. And we are here for a brand new episode of the Monsters of North podcast. Today is near dark. So, before I do that, can you remember what the number is? The case file number.
68, I want to say.
Please don't, because I said it was 87 last week.
No, it probably is 80 something. I don't know because I'm stupid. We should know this by now. Danielle doesn't remember anything unless it happened 10 minutes ago.
And I forgot to ask before we pressed record. Idiot. Ooh.
I don't know. It doesn't say on
Oh,
that.
never mind. Never mind. I will.
88. I think it's 88.
Blag it. Anyways, I'll do the disclaimer and then we'll crack on open near dark. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions, and it's our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on our socials. Or you can join us in the comments section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun. Keep it kind and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Wasn't going to give Fred the dick then, so don't be a dick. It's not at Fred. It's that way.
No, it's that way. Never at Fred. Look at him, man. He's absolute. I hope to God he doesn't get cut out, but he looks absolutely perfect.
Boop.
Sometimes death is better. Oh, I love saying that. Right. So cracking open case file number 88.
Yeah.
Near Dark is the 1987 neo-western horror film co-written and directed by Kathryn Bigelow in her first solo directorial debut, starring Adrian Pasdar, Jenny Wright, Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, and Jeanette Goldstein. The plot follows a young man in a small Oklahoma town who becomes involved with a family of nomadic American vampires. Killing you would be easy. They'd rather terrify you. As Monsters Up North brings you Near Dark. Dun, dun, dun.
How do you think it was called Near Dark? Because
it was in fucking the
dusk.
dark.
It was quite dark. It was dusk. But from dusk till dawn, obviously, totally different thing. But
yeah. It was so dark. It's a good job I watched it at night. I would not be able to watch it during the day and be able to make anything out.
Did you hear they were going to have a sequel and call it First Light?
Shut.
Honestly, they did an interview with Adrian, and he basically said we all joked on set to say that if there was a sequel, it would have to be called First Light. And Lance was like, yeah, you'd see like the dismembered parts of our bodies coming back together that were all on fire, and I was like, oh Christ, I'm so glad that was never a thing.
No, but Lance Henriksen really took this very seriously.
Method acting to the T.
Yeah. We'll get into some of these acting choices as we talk about the film, but he really did take this to another level. And I think it's a good thing. I really do because he was it just showed he was passionate.
Yeah, but see, there's two different avenues. You had the avenue Lance went down, and then you had the avenue Bill went down.
Did Bill just show up?
Bill decided in full melt face to go like holler someone down on the street that was driving,
Hmm.
told him there'd been a massive accident and that you should see the other person. The poor person was absolutely having a meltdown that he pulled over, and then he had to confess to him, no, he was only messing around, and then they're shooting a film. Can you just imagine the panic in that person for the first, I don't
Yeah.
know, after seeing Bill completely crispy as on one side of his face?
Look, the makeup was amazing, and actually now I'm regretting I didn't look into the makeup side of it.
I did. No
Oh, did
provenance.
you?
No
No,
provenance. Literally did this and did I want to say like Tales from the Dark Side. Tiny, tiny little projects. Never heard of the person. Never studied under anybody of any kind of like
that's
just
crazy.
one of those like not flash in the pan because that's not fair to say that because I don't know.
No, because
But
this,
according to IMDb, there was not a lot of not a lot to go with on that.
yeah, there's some talent in that work. They looked absolutely amazing in some of his scenes. And to be honest, he stole every scene. Let's be honest. Every time that man walked on screen, he absolutely stole it. But when I read about that last night, about the whole, you should have seen the other guy. It always reminds me of the story from Stand By Me when they did the leeches scene
Oh
and the kids they'd been doing so much like such a long day. Is it Richard Donner who did Stand By Me, or am I making that up?
no, I think you're right. I think it was Richard.
He was like, listen, kids, you have done so well, but we're going to let you have a break. But the only issue is we can't take you out of makeup just yet because we've got to come back. So they let them go to like this like little, like it was like an arcade. And they were all covered in their leech makeup and everything. And they got asked to leave. These poor Bens had been like working all day and they just got like a few minutes relief, and because they couldn't take their makeup off, they had to be asked to leave.
Will
Poor things.
Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Will
Um,
Wheaton.
this movie is it's not it's not original in the fact that there was a lot of vampire movies out at the time, so it literally piggybacked off that. This is not what Kathryn Bigelow wanted to do. If you don't know the name Kathryn Bigelow, she is the ex-wife of James Cameron, who she was not married to at this time. She was just friends with him. Um, she also has directed some of the greatest action movies ever. And the first one that comes to my head is Point Break. There was a couple of others now. I generally can't
Hurt
remember the top.
Locker.
Hurt
Zero
Locker.
Gravity.
Yeah, she likes I don't know if that's where she's kind of pigeonholed herself into, or but she likes gritty. She
Yeah.
likes
Gritty suspense, drama, action.
hmm but she does it good. But this is her first directorial debut on her own, because the other works that she'd done before this, she'd done with somebody else.
Mhm.
But she had the help of a friend who then turned into her husband.
Oh, Jimmy
Oh,
boy.
wonder he's actually in the film,
Hmm.
which I I didn't know that was him.
I think it's because he had so much hair.
Right. He is actually he plays a cameo in he's a truck driver who gives Bill Paxton the finger. Um was it Bill Paxton? It was Bill Paxton, yeah.
Yeah, it was Bill, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it was James. I was like thinking to myself, yeah, you're friends at this point. He is clearly possibly married to Linda Hamilton at this point.
Not married
No.
yet. When James married Catherine, he'd already had three wives. I think Catherine was either his third or his fourth. He then cheated on Catherine with Linda,
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
married Linda because T2 was 92,
Right.
1990, 92, something like it was around about then. So he met Linda, fell in love with Linda, cheated on Catherine with Linda. Linda cited for divorce, and Linda became his fourth or fifth wife. I can't remember if it was three wives he had prior to meeting Catherine or Catherine was number three. and now he's divorced Linda and he's married someone else. I think he's on wife 6 now. So
The bitch loves wedding cake, doesn't he? Wow.
he likes going down to the Titanic as well. So I mean, really, that man's and he likes blue aliens. So
I,
I've really not got a lot to say about
I
that, to
think
be
he's
honest.
I think he's outdone Sean Bean on the wife department. Sean Bean likes his wives. I think he's on number 5.
Oh, it's organising a wedding once is enough. Doing it that many times, no.
No, no, thank you. I've done it once, and I'm not normal, and I did mine in June, July, August, 5 months. So yeah, that was bad enough. I couldn't imagine how like doing it over a longer period. I'm glad like I had that 5 months. Just get done. Just said yes to everything. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So James Cameron is her friend at this point, and he said to her, because she was like she wanted to do a western. That
Mhm.
was the initial plan. She always wanted to do a western, and Kathryn Bigelow is a bit of an artiste, which you find very prevalent throughout this film because it is beautifully shot. It is stunning. Um, and he said, "Why don't you have a look at some of my actors from a certain film that I've just done, and maybe we can kind of like, or maybe you can kind of like market it or get in on the hype of the vampires that are happening right now because Lost Boys had just come out and Monster Squad had just come out.
Yeah.
So
I
and she
think that it was
went,
all in the same year. Near Dark, Lost Boys, and Monster Squad were all 97. 87, sorry. They're
yeah,
all 1987. So they all sat in the same block. So they were all being filmed around the same time and being released. They all had a release date within a very short span of time as well. So
yeah,
there was like a little sidestep, shall we say, even though slashers were still very much prevalent in the 80s. I think this was a little sidestep with the vampires. And it was kind of like one of those things where is it going to work? Is it not going to work? But we know this film had 5 million budget, which was massive, massive budget for a first time director.
yeah,
Um, and when you look into it, a lot of the studios weren't convinced that Catherine had the stones to make the movie. They didn't.
yeah,
They told her she had like I think it was like that she had 2 weeks to prove to them with the cuts that they do, like the dailies and stuff like that, that she could do what she promised she could deliver. And luckily, and I'm not taking it away from her because she does some amazing stuff, but it was lucky that James was there because I do feel like James gave her the confidence to be able to
yeah,
push for certain things that and obviously then the picture house turned around and was the studio were like, yeah, perfect, we love you, stay on. But the issue that we have is that it may have had a 5 million budget, but because the distributors, DEG, who we've talked about before, who um, were the ones that distributed so many of the early 80s movies,
yeah,
this was their last one before they went bust. And it went bust at the same time as this movie was released. So there was hardly any um, hype about it. There was
yeah.
no like you know
Fanfare.
the media budget for promotion or anything like that. There's no marketing or anything. So it only made 3.3 million in the box office. So obviously it was a loss of 1.7 million to the studio. And the studio weren't very happy and they did accuse Catherine of making it too artsy for want of a better word, but too in, what do they call it? Cerebral kind of
Oh, right, yeah. That's a good word. That's a really good word to describe
yeah
it.
too cerebral for the target audience that they were.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because the vampire movies at the time was Fright Night, Vamp, Once Bitten, Lost
very
Boys,
obvious. Yeah.
Monster Squad. It's very the
Pointy
very
pig capes, you name it.
yeah,
You've got the all the tropes basically.
yeah. And
Yeah.
this doesn't, it takes that away. There's no pointy teeth. The word vampire isn't even said once and not even references them. And it was James who helped out with the casting and the direction, but it was Eric Red who was her um writer, her co-writer,
Yeah.
he said he would financially help with it to if you kind of change it and follow into this genre.
Yeah.
And then James Cameron comes in and is like, hey, I've got some actors for you. And he said, Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, and Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
No, scrap that. Goldstein, Henriksen, and Biehn. Paxton wasn't actually asked initially. It was Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
That's what he's called in my house, Kyle Reese. And he was asked initially, and he was like, two on the nose, and I think he was doing something else. I don't know if I read that right, but he backed out,
Mm.
and Bill Paxton was like, "Fuck yeah, give me the leathers, let's do this."
Yeah. And that was the weird thing because when you look into it, did you see the Easter egg? I spotted it, and I'm not quick on these things sometimes. If I'm not paying, like, if I lose a bit of interest or it dips out, I don't always see this. But there's a scene where Adrian's sort of stumbling down the road, and you see the cinema in the background. Did you see what was on the cinema?
No, I didn't. I actually read about it later on,
I
but
caught it in the moment, and I was like, I never see these things. I was really pleased with myself.
oh, you should be. But you know me, Dan. I did a whole episode on a movie where I'd watched it the night before and didn't get the subtext of it when we did Late Night with the Devil. So, do you know, it probably would just go straight over my head, but I did read about it. There was who it was Aliens, wasn't it?
I think it was Alien. I don't know if it was
Alien.
Aliens. I don't recall seeing the S, but I think it was James nodding to Ridley.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what happened because like trying to this film because of it's now classed as a cult film, a cult
Yeah, it's a
standard
cool.
film.
Yeah.
Which for some reason you can always look back at some things and realize that they're much better with 30 years time
Yeah.
gap, but it's it didn't do great. And
But it has now.
yeah, and now it's classed as a cult classic. So you can look back at it now with today's eyes and appreciate what Kathryn did do with it. And
Uh-huh.
I just me and Sammy were talking about this before we came on.
Yeah.
I am ambivalent about this film. I don't necessarily hate it, and I don't necessarily love it either. I'm sort of in the middle. I think it was good. I don't think an hour and 34 minutes is justified for a film that had probably 25 minutes worth of story in it,
Yeah.
but was dragged out to a point of maybe only 3 or 4 scenes being of any true like
Use.
interest to me.
Yeah.
Um, but
No,
I
I get
I
you.
love the casting. I did
No,
love
no. I said to Dan when we first, I said, I absolutely love this film. I get what she was doing with it. I get it's a completely different contrast from, and if you're looking at the movies that are out at the time, it's completely different. And I think what helps more than anything, again, is how beautifully it's
it.
shot. There is moments in there that you could still shot that, and it's a work of art. It's just absolutely stunning. But there is a lot, and it's probably a little bit more frustrating than anything else because these characters are interesting. They are so interesting. Lance Hendrickson's alone was like, shit, what's going on with that scar? Like what's happening here? He mentions that he was part of the Confederacy.
Kind
Like
of. He doesn't actually say it though, does it? He goes, "Oh yeah, I fought for the South," and he goes, "What?" He went, "We lost," and it
yes,
was
because Caleb says to him, "How old are you?" And he goes, "Let's put it this way: I fought for the South." And this he goes, "The South," and he goes, "We lost."
so therefore,
Um,
like, yeah, you were a Confederate. You had to be because with
yeah,
that rat tail and
yeah.
all that like tar he had in his hair, and oh,
Took me so long to realize what that was behind him. I was like, "What am I looking at here?"
Rob was sat doing his 3D printing, sorting out some orders, and I was sat watching it on the sofa, and he went, "What is that on the back of his head?" And I was rat tail. And obviously, for those of you when this comes out, the weekend coming up, the Easter Bank Holiday weekend, is Horrified. It's a massive show, a first time show down in Farnborough that we'll be doing, and Robert England's there, and also Lance is there. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
half tempted to just plait a bit of wig hair and take it down and go, I think you've lost this.
If you do, that would be unreal. I, I saw things for Robert England, like, and I was like, I don't recognize this name at all.
Brand new down in Farnborough.
Farnborough.
It's the outskirts of London. It's Reading Way. Never done it before, so I'm not really sure what it's going to be
Yeah,
like. But
that's good guests though,
they've
mate.
got some of the Dissent girls. There's quite a lineup when you look into it. To be honest with you, I'm in the midst of having a end of year breakdown because those of you that know what I do for a day job, I work in accounts and payroll. So this is P60 season, and I don't know anything right now. So the fact that I'm even here
Yeah,
talking about this is actually quite a miracle.
it's a it's a miracle. Um, speaking of cons, the fucking For Love of Horror is gonna kill us. Like the fact that I'm not going this year, because you know what's coming next. It's gonna be a fucking Scream reunion.
Yeah, of
Like,
course. I knew it was coming from last year because Sean Clark, their booking manager, had them all at a different show last year.
hmm
And then there was an allusion, one of them alluded, I don't know whether it was Neil or
Was this a Neve Campbell reference on their live by any chance?
there was something that was said, and it was just like, they're going to go for as many as they can get.
Yeah,
They're going for it because Sean does represent all of them. And the one I didn't think they would get, Courtney, you're not going to see Courtney.
no,
She doesn't do shows.
no,
The only way I think would be for David to back up the show for the love of horror because David's done it twice now.
yeah.
I would think that if she trusted David's word, which I presume she would because they've been married, and they're still really good friends,
hmm
that's the only way he'd probably get her to do it. But I can't see that happening. But
I
Jamie
can't.
Kennedy was the one I thought they'll never get Randy. They'll never get Randy. Randy doesn't come over. And what did they do? They fucking got Randy. And I got so excited. I waved at him and went, they fucking done it. And Rolf, I was so excited because I've already met Matt. I've met Skeet. I've met Neve. But and I've met David. But I keep missing Rose because I'm always working when Rose McGowan's at a show.
Oh, that would be one.
Sort of miss that one. And then I want to say, I think that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. For
That's
like
really
this,
it. Other than Courtney, which, like I said, she'll never.
it's never gonna happen. They did say they had another Scream announcement, but it wasn't the Fountain Crew. So, but
Not me.
he did let her name slip a fair few times, like Neve Campbell's, and I'm like, that's what they're doing. They're ramping up for a Scream reunion, big fucking photo shoot.
But then what did they do? They announced Devon Sawa last night.
God, that floored me. That one got me badly, and I was like, I can't believe the year I am missing. He's gonna be there.
Now, for some people, I feel like Devon Sawa's got better with age. He's like a wine. When he was in Casper,
Yeah,
he was cute. Can
he
I
was
keep you?
adorable.
That whole thing, right?
Adorable.
Was it 1991, 93? Casper came out around about then. So all of us were Christina Ricci at the time, and all of us wanted our own Casper ghost, right?
Yeah,
Then he did Final Destination, and he grew into his looks by the time he got to The
I.
Fanatic, which I still want people to go out and watch because Fred Durst's directorial
Oh shit!
debut
You
with,
keep mentioning this.
with John Travolta playing a fanatical,
No,
don't know how to explain it without
it
having to
sounds
get
so
it wrong,
wrong,
challenged person
right?
um, that becomes very obsessed with a actor, which ends up being Devon Sawa. people have to see it. It's a fever dream. It is a fever dream of a film.
I'm gonna have to, because at one point I'm just gonna think you're making this up because you're using the words Fred Durst, John Travolta, and Devon Sayer in the same sentence.
It's
So
the
I'm
most
gonna have to do it.
it's the most bizarre thing. And I mean, you and I go back to the fact, in Tropic Thunder when they
Yeah,
when he says, when Kurt Lazarus says to Ben Stiller's guy, "You never go full."
yeah.
He went full. He
Oh
went
my gosh,
full. He
he
went
went full
up
Sentinel Jack.
full. John Travolta went 1,000 miles past it. At that, he went full Simple Jack. Right? We're
Oh my
talking. It is
God.
a whole nother level of. I don't know if this is satire. Should I laugh? But I know that's John Travolta. So I just can't fathom.
My
Brain can't quantify what's occurring here. So a recommendation for you to either just watch and enjoy,
yeah,
or just watch and be as confused as
stunned.
I am about it.
Yeah, my sister was so brave one time and went full Simple Jack with her hair. She did his hairstyle,
Oh,
the orange and everything. Um, bitch, she actually looked really good. Um, but yeah, the convention thing at the moment is just blowing my fucking mind. Even HorrorCon announcing bloody Finchy.
they've
If
done
I
the Solskjaer sisters as well, American Mary.
I am so ex I am so, I'm going to this one, by the way, and I am so excited. I love them too. I have followed them for years, individually, together. I absolutely love them.
Are they still going on about God all the time? Because I had to stop following them because they went through a phase.
They did, but I
Like,
don't think they have for a while.
oh, good. And not because you're allowed to love who you love and believe in what you believe. Honestly, that's none of my business. It's a personal thing to you. But when you when you're following like you're following a creator and you're used to their content being very much a certain way, and I understand
Mhm.
everybody has to change up their content every now and again, make things new, make things
Yeah.
fresh. I was not expecting the God bombs. I was not expecting post after post about how God is great and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, I don't think this is what I signed up for. So I'm just
No.
going to politely just not
And
announce my departure like an
no.
airport, but I'm off. I'm just
Yeah.
gone.
No, I totally get you. I've followed them for a long time, but it's Finchy, Chris Finch. It's Galactus. He's gonna be sat right. He's gonna be there. Like I know everyone's getting really excited because he was in Nosferatu and he's in The Witch, which is great for him. But he will ever for always be Chris fucking Finch. Bloody good rep. And if I don't get hurled out of that convention for shouting Finchy, read a book a week, I will be shocked. Yeah. The whole convention thing's like blowing my fucking mind at the moment.
High West, I think, is at that one. Alex
Yeah.
Reed, obviously from Silent Hill, was we were talking Christabella last week, the Bald Queen, she's there. Um, Evil Dead, the remake, the main girl from that's there. Oh, sorry, I forgot
I
her
like
name.
that. No, I like that
Um,
film.
yeah, there's the one thing, they're all very, very different this year, the three main horror. We will go back to the film in a second.
Yeah.
These three main ones now are all very different in the lines of guests they go down. For the Love of Horror will get you your big bang for your
Big
buck,
hitters.
huge hitters. Then for the beauty about HorrorCon UK and why I like doing it is because they think outside the box. You're not you're gonna get stars. That's the whole point of it. But you're
Yeah.
not gonna get. They go down different routes. So they'll look at, like, one year they had Cassandra Peterson, they had Bill Moseley, they had Sid Haig, they had Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton. They've had John Jarrett, Nick Frost before Nick Frost started doing conventions. Um,
That list there alone is fucking insane.
yeah, they had Grim Life last year. They have so many, like, people that are slightly like Dario Argento. Um, they've had
Had all the Hellraisers as well,
Price's
didn't they?
daughter. She did
Victoria.
she was there one year. Honestly, it's one of those things where you can sit there and you can just go,
Not in a million years would I think I would be in a room with these people.
yeah, and because they're so it's so different. I
Mm-hmm.
love how different it is. And then with this horrified one, obviously Robert had a very he was tied up very much into showmasters for a very, very long time, and I think that has now relaxed, or he's been able to leave that to a degree. But I do know striking events or holding this one are friends with showmasters, so it may well be that he's on loan or he has been able to step away. I don't know. So having Robert at the show is a
That's
big deal.
huge.
But when you look at the guests for that one as well, like I said, you've got the girls from the Dissent. There's Lance is there. You just go
Lance
on and have a
Henriksen is
look.
huge.
Yeah, I mean and I've met Lance a couple of times, and he is a very, very lovely man. I cannot say how nice that man is. I cannot praise that man enough. And
I've I've heard good things about him.
Rob met Rob's met Jeanette. I haven't met her. I've seen her, but I've not met her. Rob's met her, and I've seen Bill through a crack in a wall that was this big.
Yay!
Because we did in 2016, Showmasters had the Alien reunion, and
Oh,
you had Sigourney Weaver, you had
shit.
yeah, there's a photo of me with Sigourney Weaver, and it's the most genuine smile you will ever see in your life coming off of my face because I'm so excited.
You did it with Linda Hamilton too, didn't
Yeah, there's
you?
a couple of people in this lifetime that I never thought I would meet, but Linda Hamilton and Sigourney Weaver both stopped and had a chat with me. Like Sigourney stopped the queue, grabbed my hands, and Sigourney was like, "Your hair is amazing," because I had purple hair then, and she was like, "It's I've never seen anything like it. How do you do?" And they were going next. She went, "No," and she's like, Sigourney was losing her shit with them, and I was like, "Oh my God." And I think I did get quite like a bit with Sigourney.
Yeah.
But Linda did the same thing. She grabbed me and she went, "Aren't you cute?" And I was like, "You're smaller than me, but okay." I was like, "Okay." But
I can imagine Linda Hamilton being very much like my mom. I don't know why. I've just got like such my mom vibes when it comes to her.
but it was so weird that Alien year they had, like I said, Michael, they had Sigourney, they had Bill Paxton, and like I said, I saw him having his photo taken through the crack in the wall, and it's I don't have regrets really, but I do regret not buying a ticket to see him. Obviously, when we all found out that next year he passed away,
Oh my
so
God.
it was just like,
It
ah.
should never have happened. It
Twister
should
was one of my
never have happened.
favorites at the time as well. Like Twister is a film I always go back and watch with love.
Look, yeah, it's nothing but love. Like if I want to, oh, I don't know, it just gives us the warm and fuzzies. Like I absolutely love that. But it's everything that man touches.
Mm.
Everything. He did it, he actually directed a film himself. Um, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called now. But we Ant was like, we need to watch this film. It's like I think it was a thriller, but he went, Bill Paxton's in it. Sold. But he went, Bill Paxton directed it too. It's like his first and only directorial piece. And I was like, okay, we're watching it. I love that man so much. He should still be here.
And I still stand by the fact that what they did for him at the I think it was I just want to get the name of the people right.
Hmm.
The storm chasers across the whole of the US when he passed away, they lit up the storm beacons and spelt out BP across the whole of the United States when they lit the beacons. So when it said that they put the storm beacons up to say there were storms, but there wasn't, but it made out BP because everybody loved that. Even storm chasers loved that film Twister. It got so many people into wanting to hunt twisters. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not saying it is, but
There is
it
there's a brand new documentary
I did see
just
that
hit
come up.
Netflix
Right. I
about
haven't
it.
watched it, but I did see it come up and I was like, do I?
I'm going to see what it's about. I will always have living in my head rent free. Hi, I'm Bill Paxton from the Twister ride in Universal Studios.
The thing I do love about Bill as well, though, was that he was up for the lead role in Darkman. You know, the movie, the terrible superhero type thing, in 1990, and he told Liam Neeson about the job, and he was like, "Oh yeah, maybe you should audition too, you know, for one of the other parts." And Liam ended up getting the part of Darkman from under.
Oh,
So Lee, like Bill, never talked to. He didn't talk to him for a very fucking long time after that because he was so annoyed with it.
oh, bless him. I've recently, so we did for I host anyone who doesn't know who hasn't been around for a while. I host another podcast called Nerdy Up North Podcast. I co-hosted, sorry, and we recently did Tombstone. Now, this was before the passing of Val Kilmer, which is still incredibly, incredibly sad. I lost my Batman last week. Just gonna put that out there. Very sad. But we watched Tombstone, and obviously Bill Paxton's in it. And do you know what it is? When you look at Bill Paxton's work, it's like, what wasn't he in?
Well, do you want the list of roles he was up for? But
I would love to know that, actually. Go on.
some of these are so far left field that I cannot picture how the film would have been with Bill in it. I'm not saying it would have been worse. I
Uh-huh.
just can't see how it would have worked. First one,
Right.
Dr. Ian Malcolm of Jurassic Park.
And now I could see how that would work.
There was something about how Jeffers does it, though, for me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Then we had the role of Alan Parrish in Jumanji, Robin Williams.
And now I cannot picture that.
He was also considered for one of your most favourite people, Matthew Broderick's character in the Godzilla film that was made.
He probably could have made it better. Just take Broderick out of the situation. Take Broderick out of every situation.
And another one was, now I think he could have done this. And this is probably out of all of them, the one that I could see him doing the best, but I still am glad he didn't because I love who did it.
Mhm.
He was considered for the role of John Nada in They Live instead of Roddy Piper.
Okay, I totally get. Yeah, love that role is Roddy Piper's. Like, that is his role. And yeah, but I can see what I can. Do you know how when we did the episode and we talked about how if we could literally put Kurt Russell in there and it would be very. I think it would be the same. I don't know. I'm like getting the same kind of vibes. I think the look is Kurt Russell. The attitude and mannerisms could have certainly been Paxton.
Oh, he could have. I think if he could tone down the cocky and
She
it would have been
can.
fine. Yeah, he would have been really. I think he would have pulled that off really, really well. I think it would have been out of all of them, it's the one I can see him doing the best.
Yeah,
He
100%.
also did a lot of music videos, and he's in one of
Huh?
my favorite music videos, which goes back to Fred Durst.
Oh
There's
my God, I know what you're gonna say.
there's a music video for the song "Eat You Alive" by Limp Bizkit, and it's got him and Thora
Or a
Birch
bitch.
in it. And basically, Fred's kidnapped Thora, and now I can never work out if Bill is the sheriff or he's her dad and the sheriff, but they go hunting for her through the forests to try and find Fred, basically. And I love the song. It's probably their heaviest, Limp Bizkit's heaviest song they've
It was
done. And I
so
really like
different.
that. But the
I
video is I had never seen the music video until about 10 years after the song came out, and I was like, it's like a little horror film. It's like a little I don't know. It was just I really
I totally get what you mean. I used to get compared a lot to Thora Birch growing up, and it might have something to do with the fact that I love Ghost World. It's one of my favorite graphic novels. It's one of my favorite. I love the movie because it just accompanies the graphic like all. I think I own it in English and in French. Don't ask me why. The graphic novel I just do. And I used to model myself on Enid, who is obviously Thora Birch, and the whole Raptor t-shirt, the hair, and fuck
it was the
yeah.
whole for me. I mean,
Oh
obviously,
my God, I love that film so much.
most people know Thora Birch from playing Danny in Hocus Pocus.
Nah, the
That's where
whole.
that's the the origin story of Thora Birch. But the whole was where she really like took it up a notch for me because the psychotic. She didn't do bad with the English accent either. I was actually quite
No.
surprised. She did that all right, and I was quite.
And she was talking next to Keira Knightley and fucking Lawrence Fox.
Yeah,
Um
Desmond
getting the
Harrington as well. He was in it.
yeah, yeah, but
I mean, Lawrence Fox could act in that. Let's talk about how the four of them did a fucking brilliant job in
yeah.
that film. Take away the fact that Lawrence is an absolute royal.
Tit.
I was going to say
Oh,
Sam of the
well, no,
Sea, but
yeah. Let's be careful what we say because he has a tendency for going for people for defamation. The problem is though, you can't actually get done for defamation when it comes to him because you're actually talking the truth. He's a
That's the
tit.
thing. It's an opinion. It's not that I am not slighting that man's character because at the end of the day, he's done that himself. Actions speak louder than two people on a podcast's opinion.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Go and fuck yourself. I hate him.
but
Eh,
the
yeah.
thing I love about Bill as well, Bill and Lance both hold this record. The two of them hold this record jointly. They are both the only two actors to have been in a Terminator, Alien, and Predator movie.
Oh my
Two of
God.
them.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I found the film that was Bill Paxton's directorial debut. It was called Frailty. It's from 2001. It has Matthew McConaughey in it and Powers Booth. It is fucking unreal. It's I'm just gonna the synopsis is the plot focuses on a strange relationship between two young brothers and their father who believes that he has been commanded by God to kill demons disguised as people. It's so fucking good. Frailty, go watch it.
Right.
Oh my God, is that another film I've seen you haven't?
It is. I
Oh,
haven't
you
seen it.
bloody hell. Bloody hell. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the beauty and grace and strength of Diamondback?
I loved, right? I wanna express how much I loved Jeanette's hair in this.
Jeanette's
Because bearing in
face,
mind,
her
like
mug.
three Aliens come out in 84, I think.
Totally different, like,
Vasquez,
yeah.
I'm not saying it right. I know I'm pronouncing the Q. Don't come for me. It's
Oh
an
well.
thing. Vasquez, she went from looking the jokes that they made about her in the movie, it tells you what the character write up was for her. And I've got a picture of her downstairs. It was done by Digital Pharaoh, and it's Vasquez as the Mona Lisa, and it's on our wall downstairs. And I absolutely
That
every time I leave
is
my house, she's right next to the wall, and she's like got the
that is
bandana on, and she's in the pose like this.
she
It's brilliant.
they did they I'm not going to say the derogatory term for it, but she was very butch in when she played that character.
Yes.
Fuck me, is she fuck? I mean, she's beautiful. She's beautiful in Aliens. She's fucking stunning in this. Like her face, the makeup. It's just makeup. It's just her face, and she is absolutely breathtaking.
She's a chameleon though, really, because you look at her in Aliens, you look at her in this, and then you go to T2 where she's all mumsy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, she's the one on the phone.
She's the one on she's Edward
She's the
Furlong's
mom.
foster mum, along with
Yeah. Oh my God. She is a fucking chameleon.
yeah, she was with Alexander Berkeley. He was her
Yeah.
stepdad. I want to say that's him as well. Yeah, he was in Candyman. He was also in Walking Dead.
Yes, he's that dickhead. Yes, yes, he plays a dickhead in two films.
He plays a
Um,
dickhead all the time. I think he's typecast.
the scene I loved the most in this whole film was the bar scene, and I know it's because there's a lot that goes on there, but there was a lot that was said as well. Like I feel like I was starting to figure people out a little bit.
I think it's probably the one issue I have with this film, and I know I've said it to you already, is the lack of exposition.
Yeah,
Why you don't always need a massive exposition dump to for you to understand what's going on, but you enter at such a full force moment, you don't even get time to know who the characters like
nah.
who Caleb is. You don't have a clue because he's literally driving in his van to meet his friends, and then there's May. And it's like, well, that didn't take long. Bang, 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 bang. And it's like, whoa, what who the fuck is Caleb? What the fuck is she? What the hell's going on? Eh,
And why has she just bit him?
a rabbit? What's going I mean,
And
there's
what
no
what
fangs
what
either.
no, there's no fangs, and what really made me laugh more than anything is when she does it and he kind of like goes, oh, that was such a kiss, and then she kind of like bolts out the car and he goes running after her. Dude, you've got a car, just fucking drive after her. Like, what are you running for? Like,
Questionable choices in that respect, I will
like,
say.
what are running for there's so honestly there was some hilarious parts of him. I want to get back to the bar scene in a minute, but is some there was one moment, Dan, and honestly I thought I was gonna wet my pants. I thought I was gonna wet myself right at the end when they've got his sister and he's shouting at Jesse, get off her! Really high pitched voice, and he's like probably sounding like a
There's so many moments in this that you just think, what are you doing? What? What?
oh
What are you doing? It's like, oh, don't do that. You're standing arm's length from someone. You could easily just push them over. And it's like, don't do that. And it's,
yeah. It was
I
there was some choices. That was
yeah,
amazing
for
though,
me, like I say, it was just the sheer lack of exposition. So you had to go along with the film and watch it
as it
in the
was.
timeline of seeing it. But like I say, we've already discussed the tiny little nitbits you get, like tidbits you get from like, oh, he was a Confederate. You know that Homer's the oldest one out of all of them, even though he's trapped in a child's body. But you don't know anything about Diamondback, and you don't really know much about Severin, other than Severin possibly started the Chicago fire with Jesse, when they were messing around. And it's like,
Mm,
well, you don't really know much about any of them, and it's like I
no.
want just a bit more. I don't want them to sit down and say, when I was doing this. You don't need to do that, but there was just nothing. I don't know anything about Diamondback as a character.
No, and they had so many times to do that. They had the time when they first meet everyone, when you instantly when you're in the air camper van and you meet them. And you get it. Homer does a little bit. He's like, "Listen, you have no idea what it's like to be a fully grown man inside here, but look like a child on the outside." So we know that he is the oldest. Like, oh, we don't know he's the oldest, but we know he is a man inside of there. So they had an opportunity in there when Caleb saves them with the police. Has a perfect opportunity there. They're starting to grow. They're starting to become a little bit of a unit. Caleb's starting to join in with them. Even the bar scene, we had so much time in there that the things weren't fleshed out, and it was very frustrating because these characters are so interesting, like
Mm.
really interesting. Like I just want to know more about them. Diamondback, man, with that knife, and obviously she's married to Jesse. Um,
My favorite bit was when she threw the knife and it went straight in his face. And he just went, he just gave her this like death stare, and I was like,
it's almost like you've done that again.
we've been here before.
No, what really confused me about Diamondback though, because she does have this mothering instinct in her. I guess, because it's like mom, dad kind of thing. And so Jesse's kidnapped the sister, but it's Diamondback who gives her back to the brother.
I
But then
think
it's Diamondback who says, everyone, let's get in the car and go and get them.
I think it's a game to her. That's the only thing I can
Mm,
think of. Like, oh, like a catch and release situation. Like we'll hunt them down
mm.
and we'll make something of it. But yet she was the one in the car at the end that was like, "It's been a hell of a ride, baby," or whatever she says to him as they do the Thelma and Louise
Oh
handhold.
yeah, you just needed the hand, didn't you?
The big Thelma and Louise, let's go as
But
they drive and you're expecting full on foot to the pedal to the metal, and it when they pan out and you watch it, it's just pooling along, and it just
and then it just literally blows up. And oh my God, was that like the most impressive explosion? Did you see the colors come out of that explosion? But I was like, is that their spirit? Like, is this because you get to the point with this film where everything is it's so slow that you are like thinking, am I missing something here? Is there hidden meaning here?
yeah. I mean, I know how they did these. I mean, you might even know this as well. How they made them look like they were smoking in the daylight. Like they were burning. They had
No.
5 or 6 pipes, like plastic pipes, put under their clothing. And then they had lit cigars placed inside the pipes. And that was and they had like little fans around something like, there is a rig set up, they did explain it. and it was basically blowing cigar smoke out to make them look like they were on
That
fire.
smelled amazing.
And the Adrian was actually the one who said it took him 2 weeks to get the smell of cigars out of his hair, out of
Yeah.
his nose. He said it was just consistent because they shot it, I think, over 40
Fo-
days,
40
47
days.
days, something
40,
like that.
40, 40 days and yeah, it was 40 days and it was
Yeah.
47 something and I don't know what the 47 was.
Yeah, I think the 7 days was in daylight and the 40 was at night or something like
That's
that.
something like
But
that.
they, yeah, for 2 weeks of that, he was literally
I bet it was lifting. But
covered in cigar smoke.
I bet initially I love the smell of cigar smoke. My mum and dad used to have a painter and decorator who would come and do the wallpaper in our old house, and he fucking stunk of it. But I loved that smell. I was going to say something on the back of that as well, and I've completely forgotten. Nah, it's gone. It's gone. What were we talking about? Oh, Caleb, Caleb, Adrian Pazda. I know what he's from. I know what he's done, but I can't picture him.
He's done a
I,
lot. He's been in a lot of things. He's one of
yeah,
those people that just pops up. Same
he
as
was.
Homer.
Yeah, we'll get to Homer in a second
I'm not going to
because he.
say, but yeah.
No, by all means, it's just in his because he's royalty is what I'm gonna say. He's fucking royalty. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It just when you were talking about the whole smoke, it's like Steve McQueen in The Blob. You know, and he used to put his cigarettes behind his back while he was filming, and you
Yeah,
just
so
see all the
he'd quickly
smoke
have a
coming out.
cheeky drag as
Yeah,
like every now and again. Yeah. He
yeah.
must have been a nightmare to work with, Steve McQueen, but
Oh, probably. If he's not willing to put a cigarette out on,
on a take.
uh-huh. Like at
Yeah.
least Humphrey Bogart had it where all of his characters smoked because he smoked about 80, 90 a day. Rollies as well. He only started using filters when he got sick. Um, so yeah, he always had it in his contract that all of his characters smoked, so he could smoke on set. McQueen
Mm.
wasn't even that fucking smart enough to actually put it in his contract. He would just have them hiding behind his fucking back. That's what came to me mind when you mentioned that. Yeah, Adrian Pasda, he's famously in Heroes. What's the other one called? Desperate Housewives.
He's been in a lot of stuff. And he plays what would you call them? Like second tier supporting characters. He never plays
He never
the
plays the full
main.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably his first foray, and I'm not sure if it's his only, but one of his first forays into playing the what I would call the lead. Um, when I looked into May, who plays the love interest,
Jenny Wright.
she does not have a lot to go on film wise. She's more of
Mm-mm.
she moved to doing stage acting after
Hmm.
this. She did a few films and then she decided, no, films aren't for me, I'm going to go to the stage. But she's most famously known for dating Nicolas Cage for 2 years.
Bless her heart.
That must have been an emotional 2 years because I can guarantee in the 80s, early 90s, that
He'd have,
Cage, oof,
he'd have been off his tits
ooh, that would have been like having a full-time babysitting job.
for 2 years.
That would have been
Fuck that.
something.
That would have
Gee.
been, yeah. I looked at her because I didn't recognize her face at
No.
all. But nothing really jumped out at us. Adrian Pasdar, I know, has done some horror conventions. I don't. Did he come to HorrorCon? Did he come? Am I making this up? Wait, I had a flick through. Because to be honest, Near Dark. If you, unlike some of the movies that we've done recently, if you actually type Near Dark into YouTube, get a shitload of things. People are actually talking about this film.
Yeah, because
But
it literally got a very, I say very recent, probably in the last 5 or 10 years, it got a Blu-ray release. And if you look at the Blu-ray release cover, I don't know if you've seen it. What Culture actually showed me this. The Blu-ray release was a piss take of Twilight, the very first Twilight cover photo. The artwork they did for the Blu-ray release for Near Dark was a piss take of the Twilight cover, because they were due to do a remake of Near Dark or a reboot,
no.
and yeah, the reboot was supposed to take place the same time as Twilight and it got canned because Twilight, it was all about sparkly vampires, not about dirty Western vampires anymore.
Oh,
So it got, but so they decided when they did the re-release of the blue, when they released the Blu-ray, that they would take the piss out of it, and the artwork, the
I'm
artwork
looking
is
at it.
face, then you've got May's face underneath, and then you've got Bill, and I think you've got Lance and
You've
Jeanette down
got,
the bottom. But the
yeah,
way it's done is it's very Twilighty. It's very Edward Cullen,
yeah.
esque, and like that whole thing. And it's
And they're making him look like
classy,
he's a
classy. Fuck
grey
you.
vampire. Yeah, he's making it look like he's a grey vampire when in actual fact the greyness was just because he was dirty and he was sick. That was like there was the one I'm other one I'm looking at is Paxton all fucked up. Like that
Crispy.
looks
Yeah.
awesome. And also the picture I sent you the other day where I was like, I feel like I'm gonna like this film.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about this film as well. Now, just because they're vampires, they've made it very clear they stop at motels.
Yeah.
They can use a shower.
Hmm.
Why don't they? Why are they so dirty all the time? They just get dirtier as the film goes on, and I'm like, look, you you're covered in claret. You just like completely decimated this bar. You've all had a feed. You're all a bit knackered now. Go home, have a shower, go to bed.
Yeah. Gonna have a nap.
Shower. Have a shower. You have a shower in that bungalow you rent. Why are you all so dirty?
They were absolutely filthy. Um
Yeah.
Homer, Joshua John Miller is
Hmm.
is royalty in my
He
eyes.
is.
In my eyes, in my world, I would class him as
You know,
royalty.
and I never knew until today that he was related. And I'd seen him in stuff before. The guy, as a kid actor, I recognized him as a kid actor. As who he is now, I wouldn't have recognized him. But as playing the kid that played Homer, I've seen him in a lot of stuff in the 80s. For
I've never
sure.
seen him in anything. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I know what I have seen him in recently though. Ah, The Exorcism with Russell Crowe. I actually didn't mind that film. Yeah, I've seen him in that recently. Um, to be honest, Dan, I didn't know his brother was his brother or his father
Yeah.
was his father. I had no idea. I think it was literally a couple of years ago when I found out, and I went, "Shut up! No, no." What we're referring to? Go on, Dan. You tell him.
It basically Father Damien Karras is a rather promiscuous gentleman who went around sowing his seeds in Hollywood and planted a seed in Josh Miller's mother and also planted a seed in the mother of Jason Patrick. So Josh Miller, who played Homer, is Jason Patrick's half brother, and they both starred in vampire movies in exactly the same year. How's that? Like
Yeah.
for weird coincidences? Because it wasn't planned,
Nope.
it's yeah. Josh Miller actually went on to become a director. And he does the odd spot, like you say, he was in The Exorcism. He directed a film that I desperately want you to see, and it's one that I think we should definitely review at some point.
Mm.
Purely on a standpoint of the fact that it's one of the most beautifully coloured movies I've seen. Like we did Color Out of Space.
Hmm.
If anyone's seen Mandy, the way they're colorized is absolutely just chef's kiss. This film is colored very similar, not in the respect of it being purples and pinks and fantasies, but the way everything is just so vivid. It is absolutely, I absolutely adore this film. It's called The Final Girls, and it is from 2015. It's got Nina Dobrev, Malin Ackerman, Teresa Farmer, yeah, uh, Adam Devine, and Alexander Ludwig in it. And it is a homage to the 70s slashers. It's done so
Hey,
well.
hey,
It, it's done so well.
I've seen it
Bloody
many times.
bloody hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking love
Dream
that
sequence
film.
and somehow it's time travel dream. I'm not really
It's
I can't.
it's hot tub time machine with slasher movies.
That's it. And but it's one of the most beautifully colored films I've seen in a long time because I think when you watch horror, you're so used to dark. You're used to the nighttime. You're used to blood red. You're used to certain color palettes that you are indoctrinated into thinking that belong with a horror genre. When
Yeah.
I watched The Final Girls, it was so bright, so vivid. The sunsets, the skies, the just the color palette of the trees was so green, and their costume, the camp costumes were bright yellow, and everything just was so in your face. It was such a kind of shock because I know it wasn't intended on being a serious film
No,
because it's
no,
supposed
I
to be a
don't
parody, but
imagine.
somehow
Yeah.
it turned into a good horror at the end. So it was like
It's got a very I will definitely do this, mind, because I have seen this film more times than I care to actually say.
Josh
Um
directed it. Josh Miller directed
I've just seen. I don't know.
it.
Again, his name is. It's never. I didn't even know who this person was until I did. I've watched this film, and I didn't even know that Jason Patrick was his brother. I didn't know that fucking Karras was his dad. Like, I didn't know this was a whole thing. His mother was a woman called Susan Bernard,
Mhm.
who was a Playboy bunny. She was she's fucking gorgeous by the looks of it. She's in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. What a fucking title. What a title. And she did General Hospital and everything, but I've just been reading here and it's talking about her personal life. It's like, yeah, she was married to Jason Miller, has the son Joshua John. She died of an apparent heart attack. That was it.
Yeah,
Apparent? Is it
that's all she's
not?
getting. Yeah, that's all she's
Yeah.
getting.
Died
Well,
of an apparent heart attack.
Josh went on to write for Playboy as well. So
Makes sense.
I would like to discuss his death scene though.
Yeah.
For
Um
1987, can I just say that was some good CGI?
I want to hope that it is because if not, you've just set a child on fire. Um,
I
so I
was
want to
like,
hope that it is, but it was I get where Homer was coming from with the sister.
he just wanted a friend.
He just wanted someone who was his own age, like who
Yeah.
looked his own age.
Yeah, that's all it was. I mean, mentally, yeah, we understand gross, okay? He's trying to nab a small child with the mentality of a
An older
possibly
man.
200-year
Yeah.
old man. However, hormonally, he's still a 13-year-old boy, 12-year-old
Yeah.
boy. I don't really know. You never find out his age. So,
No, you don't. You just got to guess by looking at him. But
yeah.
it's sad because I'm not thinking, and I don't think he was thinking it of in a sexual way. He just wanted a partner. He just wanted a friend, a companion to share things with because around him, nobody looked like him. He was alone, very alone. And that scene, his death scene when he's running out to her, it's so sad.
You look how excited he got when he wanted her to go back and watch TV. And it was like when the national anthem was playing, because for those of you that are very young, you won't know that this sort of thing happened. It did happen over here as well.
We got C-Fax.
Yeah, you get the TV would turn from programming to either CFAX, telefax, some sort of fax, and then that would go into white snow. Sometimes you might get God Save the Queen, and then it's good night,
Yeah.
right? In America, you get Land of the Free and the Home of the,
Brave.
and then good night. Let's play ball. White snow goes on, and it was like he got so upset when that happened when he turned on the telly. He was shaking the TV. There's got to be a channel. There's got to be a channel because he just wanted to sit and watch
Yeah.
TV with her,
Just
and
have
that was it.
someone to share interests with him,
Mm.
not in a weird way. Yeah, if you watch Poltergeist when they're falling asleep at the first scene, that's what's being played is the outing of
Yeah.
because yeah, television was not 24/7 when we were growing up.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. And
We had it
I
we
only had four channels. So.
Yeah, and we also yeah, I never got Sky when I was a kid or satellite television. And it was the CFAX girl with the chalkboard and the fucking clown.
Yep, because the TV used to turn itself off. in between adult programming in the afternoon and children's programming, you had about, I don't know, there was a bit of time where it went to the creepy clown and the kid, and then
Yeah.
you had Super Gran, and you had a couple of TV programs for kids, Play Away and whatever else it was, and then it would go into Blockbuster, the news, Different Strokes, Star Trek, whatever the hell was going on ITV. And then in 1982, I want to say Channel 4 arrived. So I only had three channels for the first 2 years of my life. And then in 1982, Channel 4 turned up. So it was like, oh, my
Oh,
dad
I'm
started
lucky.
working
I'm an
for
83
Sky
baby.
B. My dad started working for B Sky B in the early 90s. So we had a unchipped Sky dish that played some, I do not know what half of that stuff was that I used to watch as
What?
a kid growing up. But I think there was about another 15 channels on B Sky B at that point. And like purely because my dad worked for them as an installer, we had a massive satellite dish on the side of the house, and that's the
Oh
only.
my God, one of those big grey ones. Fuck. Yeah, my granddad was a telly addict. Like he always used to say that he'd seen the world just sitting in his living room. But he loved movies, he loved TV. So the fucking minute Sky came out and he was like, I can have more channels than four? Give me that. My dad, on the other hand, was like, I'm not getting Sky Television or a DVD player for that matter until they can record.
Mm.
Within about 6 months of him saying this and making this bold statement, he snapped his Achilles heel and he was off work for a year. And he went, and within the first week, Sky was ordered and a DVD player was bought. And the first ever DVD that we owned was my dad's favorite film, Toy Story.
Yeah.
My dad loves Toy Story so much. He even has his own Slinky dog.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just the way I couldn't find out how they filmed his death scene, because
No.
I think with, I say CGI, I don't know if it was computer, I don't know if it was composite, like flames that they'd filmed, and
And
then
then the
they
kind,
do,
yeah,
yeah, they do like composite shots. They did a lot of this during the making of like Star Wars, and especially during the Alfred Hitchcock movies. They used to film the birds, film the panning shots in the helicopter, and then they had obviously they had all the paintings and things,
yeah,
the matte paintings. But with this, it looked like they'd overlaid. What they tend to do is they take the two films and they overlay the film. So
yeah.
you have the shot of him, and then you'll have a shot of the fire, but it matched like seamlessly. So I
Perfect.
don't know if it was remastered. I don't know if it was, because I was watching the one that is on YouTube.
Me
Uh,
too.
and it just looked so well done. So if it was remastered, that's why it did. I get.
Mhm.
But it didn't say on the copy that I saw on YouTube whether it was remastered or not. So I don't know. But
I just when I was looking at the still shots, when you're on YouTube, I went for the one that I could see clearer. Don't
I
know why.
I think mine I do you know what? I don't know. I went for the first one.
I was like, oh, I can see that one clearly. I just want to tootle on back to the bar scene
Yeah.
because it probably is the most action-packed scene of the whole movie, where you get to see Diamondback do her thing. You get to see her and Lance work together. Lance, bloody Jesse work together, because he distracts and kind of like flirts with the barmaid, and then she literally slits her throat.
Hmm.
And but the way that he has a glass ready at the side of him, she pulls her head back, slits her throat, pushes her forward, and has it where he has the glass ready and her neck next to it so they can get a drink. Very well planned out. And then Bill Paxton goes acker on the whole bar, because what they're trying to do is basically get Caleb. Caleb's been a bit of a wuss and won't join the pack.
He'll only
And
feed off May after she's fed, rather than feeding directly off a fresh kill,
yeah,
or
yeah.
making his own first kill. And they're like, you've got to do it. And this was his opportunity to show his worth, wasn't it?
And he didn't, because Bill ended up like literally cutting loose and just wiping out the whole bar in a brilliant fashion, I might add. Um, yeah. What?
Yeah, no, I just everything happens so quick, yet it's probably it's one of the longest scenes at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you see them kill the barmaid, and then the guy behind the bar just looks so petrified. He's standing there and he's like eyes are popping out of his head, and he's just like, "What do you want?" And I was just like, I don't know if they've made it very clear, but I think you dead is probably their end game, mate. You know, like it's
One of my favorite lines, and I've actually got it, is the bartender goes, what do you people want? And Jesse just goes, just a couple more minutes of your time, about the same duration as the rest of your life.
I would have loved to have known what she was. Do you know what I mean? What her previous life before she
Yeah.
was a vampire. I just would have loved a bit of exposition on her. I mean, it may well be out there. It may well be in some making of or extras on a DVD, but obviously I didn't see any of that. So from what I can tell from the movie, and what research I have done, I couldn't there was no backstory to her whatsoever. I do
No.
know that Jeanette now owns a lingerie company,
Oh,
um, and in LA, and she will also be at Liverpool Comic Con this year. So
yes. She's
yeah, Jeanette is a
beautiful.
massive fan of going and doing Comic Cons. She loves meeting people. She's been doing Comic Cons for a very, very long time now. And yeah, I mean, oh, quickly, did you know Lance Henriksen was originally going to play three massive characters that never turned out? Well, they turned out, but not with Lance playing them.
No, go on.
First one, Alex Murphy, RoboCop himself.
Oh my gosh, if it wasn't for how good, what you call it is, I
Peter.
could,
Yeah.
Peter Weller,
Yeah.
I could see it. Can I
I
say
can kind
it?
of see it. I can kind of see it. Number two,
Yeah?
he was going to be playing Arnold Schwarzenegger's character of the Terminator. Can't see that.
No, but
Cannot.
you come. It's going to be a completely different vision for the Terminator that we are never going to be able to wrap our heads around because we can't. You can't ignore Arnie.
In the original treatment, James wanted a Terminator that could blend in with the crowd. He didn't
Lance would do
want
that.
a massive, huge Mr.
Yeah.
Universe. However, I don't know what happened in the story to in the board meetings or the treatment to get it to be Arnie, but it was originally written with Lance in mind.
I if that's where he's I don't know, you can't say, oh, I can't see him as the Terminator, because of course you can't, because the Terminator is it's so unrealistic. Arnie is an unrealistic version of a person.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh no, he does Android very well though.
But that's only
The
from the
stick,
James
yeah.
Cameron angle.
Mm.
Third one,
Mm.
it's a bit of a divisive film, and we are still debating whether we put aside the director enough to be able to do this film. But he was also up for the character that Jonathan Brett played, which was the Creeper in Jeepers Creepers.
I
Yeah.
knew you were going to go down that road.
Yeah.
The minute
So
you said, because we have toyed about this a lot.
it's one of those things I don't want to give that director any airtime whatsoever, but it's taken away from a movie that I do believe at the time, and I'm talking about the first one, not all, like the second one wasn't too bad. Anything after that, dog shit. But the director himself, I don't want to give him any airtime. I don't want to give
No.
it a second thought.
No, we did a Jeepers Creepers run a few years ago. Is there four? I want to say there's four.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God, the fourth one. Oh,
Reborn or something.
oh my gosh, it should have just said die because it was terrible. But I absolutely love, for a monster creation. He's breathtaking to look at. So we really have toyed with that one. So I knew exactly where you were going. Who did they want Lance to play?
The
The
Creeper
Creeper.
himself, yeah, Jonathan
Oh
Brett
no,
character.
no,
Yeah,
no! I'm glad they didn't. Then I'm glad
yeah.
no, because he was quite oldish. Like,
Jonathan
would have
Brett.
been very different.
Yeah, I mean, I've met Jonathan. He's well, Rob met him and he signed. I've got literally looking at me up there is a an action figure of the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers, and Jonathan signed it inside for Rob. But Jonathan actually came up to our stand and had a chat with us whilst he was eating a bag of quavers, which was one of the most random things that ever happened.
Amazing.
Things happen to me and to us, and I don't know why. But anyway, he was eating a bag of quavers and telling us how addicted they were, and he was having a look at our stuff. And he was such a nice man. And then you think back to the fact that you just hope to God he had no knowledge of the shit
Yeah.
that had gone down with that man before he
Yeah.
accepted the role. But he actually doesn't have a presence in real life. Like you look at the Creeper and
Mm-hmm.
you look at him, and I don't know whether it's the sheer monster design
Yeah.
or the camera angles or
He's
what it is, but they make the Creeper just look not just
he's
tall and big, but just presence. He just has presence.
yeah.
And he's intimidating, and he's kind of like a creature, but he's not like a creature because there's no gills, and he's
No.
like a bat thing, but he's not a bat, and he's I
The the design work on him is
amazing
some of the best when it comes down to monster designs.
originality. Yeah,
Oh,
originality.
that's such a brilliant word for it. It's just such a shame. Oh, that it comes with fucking baggage, and it. Me and Dan have talked about do we just do we want to open that fucking can of worms?
Yeah. And I don't in one way, but then he is a big hitter in the Creeper is a big hitter in a catalogue of iconic monsters. And do you take away from all the other people that have
And
starred
this
in
is
the film?
yeah, and this is what we've said before when it comes down to separating because it's not just one person on a movie or there's a whole bunch of people and can you take away their hard work for one person's fuckery?
Yeah.
And
And
it's just
fuckery at that. But
yeah. And I mean every I think to myself he should be in the list. Fucking hell, Bagul is in the list. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a difficult one. We'll flip a coin for it, to be fair. We flip a coin for everything else, so
But it'll be well debated, I'm sure. But
oh, absolutely, and handled with a lot of tact and care. Because we won't call Justin Long a bitch all the way through it.
that's what he's typecast as.
Little bitch. I don't think I've got any more. I really don't.
No.
I wanted to, instantly when I watched it, I loved it, and I still do. I really enjoyed what I watched. I felt it was for the fact that it was up against some very big hitters when it comes down to vampire movies. That this felt like, oh gosh, this is clever, this is different, but at the same time, there's so much more I wanted from it.
Yeah, the gist of it is guy gets bit, guy doesn't understand what's
Mm,
happening, walks down
yeah,
the street, starts to turn, still not sure what's happening, ends up doubling back and going to see the girl that bit him, and then being indoctrinated in this little group of people. They go out on a killing spree, and then he keeps refusing to feed until he feeds through her, and then they try and get him to feed, he won't feed, and then they go and they lose their temper with him, and they go in this bungalow, and then the police raid the bungalow because the person that he let go that he was supposed to kill suddenly found him in a bungalow. Don't know how, but he found them in a bungalow. He then ram raids the bungalow, they all get in the van, suddenly he's the hero. They all drive off into the sunset, and then they get to another motel and they've kidnapped his sister, and then Homer gets really upset, so he commits suicide trying to get to the sister. Caleb is then torn
Caleb is
injecting Diamondback.
cute.
They blow up, and then he kidnaps May. They go back. They get infused with human blood, fresh human blood, and they're cured.
That's
Yeah.
well, he actually. So when the sister, so the it's a massive coincidence that they meet the sister because his dad has been tracking him
Yeah.
and is with his sister, and she just so happens to talk to Homer, who then invites her back to the hotel, and then it's like, oh my god, it's my sister, oh my god, it's my brother, and the dad kind of takes Caleb with him and gives and it's do you know what my first thought that came to my head is dad knows, dad gets it, and he give him a blood transfusion.
Mm.
Um, and the blood transfusion cured him.
Yeah. Which was taken, ripped out of Bram Stoker's Dracula. in that the cure for
Yeah.
vampirism in the book is to receive a blood transfusion.
Well, you would think with all of the shit that we've done with their vampires, I would have known that.
It's in the
I
book.
did not.
It doesn't make it. I don't think it makes it at any point into
Because
any
it takes the
movie.
scary away. Like it takes that like you can only kill them with a stick. Takes all that away from it.
But the only thing that they died from in this movie was sunlight. At one point, you see them holding crosses. It does nothing.
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty sure they have reflections. It is
Yeah,
purely
they're just
just
people.
sunlight. Yeah, it is purely just sunlight that they're technically their enemy in this movie. And I personally feel like it was just missing backstory. And I'm not asking
Yeah.
for a lot. I'm just asking
No.
for something. And I just
Yeah.
feel like the character development wasn't there for these guys
Yeah.
enough.
This is not something that you can kind of like, with Michael Myers, you can make your own mind up, and that's fine. That's a character you can do that with. You can't do that with these because they drop too many hints about the people that they are,
Yeah,
and then there's not enough fleshed out to be like they are so fucking interesting. They were like the initial writing part of them is so good. The look of them, the group mentality that they've got, like this pack mentality that they've got, it's so fucking good. But there's just nothing behind it, and it's such a goddamn shame.
correct.
Well, should we leave Near Dark in the dark?
We can, but
Yeah.
do you want me to do my 666
Well,
degrees
that's
separate?
exactly what I was just going to ask because I have it written down. Don't forget to ask Dan about her 666 separation.
Well, are we ready? Are we sitting comfortably?
I tell you what, you've got one to beat, man, because last week's was fucking brilliant.
Do we have our snacks? Do we have our beverages? Are we
Go,
ready? Okay.
ready.
Adrian Pastar played Caleb. He's also known for playing Nathan Petrelli in the hit 2006 TV show Heroes. Zachary Quinto played Sylar in Heroes, but is also known as voicing Robot/Rudy in the TV show Invincible.
Yes.
Cecil is voiced by Walton Goggins,
Mhm.
who also played Deputy Steve Nash in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes.
Rainn Wilson, who played Bill/Fishboy, was also in House of a Thousand Corpses, went on to play Frank Darbo in James Gunn's Super alongside Kevin Bacon as Jax. Kevin Bacon played Sebastian Kane in Hollow Man alongside Elizabeth Shue, who played Chris in Adventures in Babysitting. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you topped last week's. That was fucking impressive.
I got the bacon in there. I got the
You got the
bacon.
actual six explorations of Kevin Bacon.
I got the bacon.
Wow, that was impressive. I got worried halfway through that. I was like, is she gonna actually finish this? Is she gonna turn around at one point and go, I couldn't do it?
I got Bacon, I got Wilson, I got Quinto in, I got Goggins in. Oh, I'm like got myself a good healthy.
That was so good.
I'm well pleased with that. That was really easy as well, and I was really surprised how easy that
Easy.
was. Well, because my brain was like, I was looking at the characters before I'd even seen the film. I look at the set list and I go, right, what's the easiest one to do? I'm not doing that. And then I go to like the other character and I was like, heroes. How do I get from heroes? Zachary Quinto. Do I go to Star Trek from Zachary Quinto? No, I don't. I'll go to Rudy because Invincible. Walton Goggins was in Invincible. He was also in House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah, I can take it from there because Rainn Wilson was in that. And then Rainn Wilson was also in that Super movie, which is, by the way, you have to go and watch Super because it is a fucking hilarious movie that people do not know exists. It's a James Gunn movie, so it's written funny.
I've
And
seen
it's
it.
about a bunch of superheroes who meet up and they're shit. They are shit superheroes. So it is better that it was a pre to say Kick-Ass. It was
Yeah.
out before Kick-Ass came out, but this is just it's very funny. And then as soon as I saw that and Kevin Bacon was it, and I remember Kevin Bacon was in that, I was like, well, he was in Hollow Man with Elizabeth Shue, so there we go.
Do you know what my brain thinks of? It just plays fanfares constantly because there's fucking nothing going on up there. It's like it's a miracle that when we do these episodes, I remember half the shit I've wrote, like I've read about. So yeah, bravo,
Like I say, the
bravo.
mental Rolodex, it's just one of those things. Don't ask me birthdays, phone numbers. I fact check everything, by the way, as well. I do go back and make sure I'm right before I even mention this stuff in case I get completely atted at, like, well, you're wrong. He wasn't in this, and that wasn't
Well,
canon.
actually,
Yeah. Ugh.
I tell you what it is. If someone will actually me one more time, I'll go crazy.
I'm getting the
Literally.
Glenda eye. You get you turn into Glenda.
Oh, that was impressive. Yes, I actually have written on the top page of my do not forget to do Dan 667 of Jake was very happy that you chose his
Oh,
suggestion.
makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
And I think we've said it wrong every time that we've done it.
Probably.
It's just like the whole, you remember the Claude Rains thing? It got out, do you know what? It got to the point where we were just chucking numbers out. How many times?
147.
I can't even remember how many it was now, but hey, he did well. Next week.
We're going B. We are going B movie.
We are, but in a modern twist.
Oui, madame. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I love a good B movie. I love the fact that it's I'd say for B movies, it's a very recent one.
Yeah.
It's got one of my favorite people I love seeing on screen in. We are doing the classic Eight-Legged Freaks. That's it. That's it for a minute. That's
Yeah.
it. We're gonna listen to some spiders go, oh, oh.
Either you know it or you don't, and if you don't know it, go and watch it because it's ridiculous. And you need to watch it just
You
because
need to.
David Arquette's in it as well. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need to watch it.
And this is the time that I am like loving Arquette because he did Ready to Rumble around about this time. And oh my God, if you haven't seen Ready to Rumble, go and watch. If you're a wrestling fan, go and watch it because it's fucking brilliant. Him and Scott Kahn, James Caan's son,
Right, yeah.
they're in it. It's so good. And Oliver. Oh, I can't think of what he's saying. He plays the king. He plays like the wrestler, the wrestler dude that they follow. So good. Also, speaking of wrestlers, have you seen who's in the Big Brother house? Mickey Rourke.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't watch that nonsense, but I will say they put him in with Jojo Siwa, so let's just see how that plans out,
It
shall we?
didn't go down too well. He's already been called into the diary room for doing derogatory slurs, which she didn't get, by the way. It went over her head. This is bear in mind, I'm getting all my news from TikTok. But yeah, he looked genuinely like, oh shit, sorry, didn't mean to say that. But his face.
Doesn't move. He can't express. He can't emote. The
Dan, he
man,
doesn't. He doesn't even look like what he did when he did the wrestler. I don't know what he looks like anymore.
he is what we would call Sylvester Stallone's mum.
Jackie,
He
you're
looks like
Jackie.
Jackie. He looks like Jackie Stallone now.
Did you ever see her when she was in the Big Brother house?
Yes. And I stand by what I'm saying. He looks
It's
like
when
Jackie
it's
Stallone.
when she walks in the door and Bridget Nielsen goes, "Oh my God, it's Jackie," and she just goes, "Yeah, I'm Jackie."
Wasn't she our mother-in-law though? Yeah, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, fuck.
Oh yeah, he's in there with Trisha Goddard as well. Trisha,
Trisha, the talk show
Trish,
host
Trisha,
Trish
yeah,
from the Channel 5 1990s.
yeah,
Trisha.
Trisha, yeah.
At
This
least
is
that's
honestly.
good.
This is just what I'm getting off TikTok. It tickled my funny bone. Right, that's been Near Dark. Next week is Eight-Legged Freaks. I'm really looking forward to that one. But you can find us. We are available on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel. This episode gets released on a Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you hit the notification bell, you'll be able to get notified. Ding, ding, ding. You'll be able to get notified when the episode becomes available. If you can't be bothered to watch us, fair play. The audio version is actually available later on that day. And if you search Monsters Up North from anywhere you get your podcast from, you'll find us. We're there. The links for Bleeding Marvelous, Monsters Up North, and Nerdy Up North are where, Dan?
Down there.
I can see your nails properly.
Down there.
in my proper camera. It's good. It's good. It's branding. I like it.
I'm on point, on theme.
Yeah, you really are. Especially when he came back with the purple hair, I was like, fuck yes.
I'm risen with the tisms. That's what I'm doing.
Have I done it?
You've done it.
Did I do it? Well, I'm not going to ruin it. There's nothing else left to say. Say goodbye, Dan.
It ain't what's going on, son. It's what's coming off. Your face. Clean off. Bye.
Stay spooky, everyone. Bye.